I think you can't see me.
I've hit record live. No. Here we go. Good afternoon to everybody. Thanks for clicking on to this very special Sunday, the 11th of August live stream here from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. Hope everybody is well wherever you are today. We have a special one today, a different setting. Not up at Vogan Weather HQ, but here in Brazil. I'm on holiday with my wife celebrating Lindsay's 40th birthday. And we've had a great time so far, I have to say. So we've got JL currently in the house. So obviously it's a slightly earlier time because essentially we want to get outdoors and enjoy the rest of the day. The time here locally is 11:30 in the afternoon. So it looks as if things are working out okay so far with regards to the internet. It has been a concern because it has been kind of coming and going. But JL is on currently. Very good afternoon to you, JL. Hello, Mark. Hope you're having a nice time in Rio de Janeiro. Have you learned any Portuguese? Apart from obrigado, which I think that's the right pronunciation for thank you. No, I actually have not. As ignorant as it is, I haven't actually picked up much local lingo, unfortunately. But, there's time yet. We don't fly back until Wednesday, so I maybe managed to learn another couple of words before we leave. But it has been very interesting. English is a little bit hit and miss here, I must admit. Google Translate has certainly helped us out and got us out of a sticky couple of situations, I must admit. We've got Stephen Murray here on the live stream this afternoon. Bom dia from the breezy Azores. Mark, hope you're enjoying your stay. Obrigado is actually the right pronunciation. I'll get there. You know what I'm like with regards to pronunciations. I'm not particularly great. But we currently have 6 concurrent viewers at the moment. So do me a favour and hit that like button. Let myself and YouTube know that you're enjoying the content here on the channel. There has been a video still released every single day this week, despite being on holiday, I'm sure to the annoyance of my wife. I don't think it's been taking up too much time, but we've managed to get a day tour, which took us around all the kind of major sites around Rio. We've seen the cathedral in downtown. We've seen the Celeron steps, which have become quite world famous actually in downtown Rio de Janeiro. We've also seen Christ the Redeemer up Sugarloaf Mountain, which was fantastic, great views. One of the most spectacular cities in the world, without a doubt, and I think it really does live up to the hype, I must admit. Weather's been interesting as well, and I'll go on to that in just a second. But we've spent a couple of days relaxing as well. We're still to really properly see the Copacabana beach, which is actually literally just 2 blocks down the road here. The weather yesterday was rotten, to say the least. We only kind of 17, 18 Celsius at the very best. It rained the majority of the night and through the majority of the day yesterday. And a massive drop in temperature. We went from 34 to 36 Celsius 2 days ago to a maximum of only 20 Celsius yesterday. So that's a massive drop in terms of temperature. A frontal system moving northwards has introduced this much fresher conditions. Bearing in mind that it is late winter here in the southern hemisphere, and the average temperature in Rio is around 25 Celsius. So, 35 Celsius, you're talking at least 10 Celsius above average, dropping to about 5 to 8 Celsius below average. So quite an interesting drop, I must admit. So, let me see if I can find any more folks on the live chat. At the moment, I'm only seeing JL and Stephen Murray tuning in. We've got 9 concurrent viewers at the moment. So it'd be good to see you. Join in on the live chat. Drop a comment. It would be good to see you here on the live stream this afternoon, live from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. Let me see what you're saying this afternoon. What's the weather conditions like where you are? I know certainly back in the UK, it has been quite unsettled actually, especially the further north you go. Quite windy conditions. I was speaking to my mum and dad yesterday afternoon, and they were saying it was quite a windy day yesterday. I think lighter winds today, slightly warmer temperatures as well up at the house in northern Scotland where we live. I was checking out my weather station and it looked as if it's around the kind of low 20s this afternoon as opposed to 17 yesterday. We had 10 millimetres of rainfall in the house as well. But the post-tropical storm Debbie is now creating a ripple effect in the jet stream. We're getting one branch going way to the north over eastern North America. We're seeing another branch downstream drop south over the North Atlantic, and there in turn we're seeing the jet push northwards over the eastern side of the North Atlantic. So we're going to open the door to some very, very hot air in particularly the southeast of the UK, where we may see an approach on the mid-30s by the time we reach tomorrow afternoon. So we'll wait and see what happens. So we've got Crypto Storm has joined in this afternoon. They're saying 24 Celsius here in Belfast today, thunder due later. And JL says 31 Celsius here in northern Portugal, was 38 here yesterday. Pretty hot stuff. I think parts of far northern Iberia and into southern France is actually going to approach all-time records. I believe Bilbao, Zaragoza, there was one place I can't remember the name actually, and then also up into Bordeaux in southern and southwestern France, possibly reaching the low 40s, which would be reasonably close to all-time records. Thanks very much once again to Lindsay for moderating this afternoon's live stream. I do greatly appreciate her contribution and support. We've got Gav's Weather Vids tuning in. Very good afternoon to you, Gavin. I hope you're having a good weekend so far, my friend. Hi, Mark. Hope you're having a nice time on holiday, my friend. I certainly am. It has been a wonderful time. Back on Friday, we took a helicopter tour over Rio, circling all the major kind of attractions, the beaches, Ipanema, Leblon, Copacabana. Then we went over the bay, circled back over the national airport. We flew right over the runway. It was pretty incredible, actually. Then we're kind of seeing the major sites around the downtown area of Rio. The favelas, both the first ever favela in Brazil, but also we passed the largest favela in Brazil as well. That was just as you kind of approach the main city. We're kind of located kind of just to the southwest of Rio itself at the Olympic golf course. And then we kind of went up the coast. We've seen a whale, an incredible sight to see a whale and its baby. I'm sure there's a name for that. But we seen that from the helicopter looking straight down over this whale, not that far off the coast, I must say, which was quite incredible to see. Then we went up the coast, past Leblon, Ipanema, then Copacabana, over downtown. Then we took multiple circles around the Christ the Redeemer statue, which was just out of this world. One of the best sights I've ever seen in my life, I have to be honest. But an incredible time. Then we had a lovely steak dinner after our flight. And yesterday, like I said, because of the rain, it's been reasonably relaxed over the last day or so. But we're going to go down to Copacabana once I've done today's live stream, going to enjoy that. We're also going to, I meant to say actually as well, for you football fans out there, we circled around the Maracana Stadium, which is world famous, one of the most famous football stadiums on the earth. I believe Pele played there. It hosted 2 World Cup finals, I think 1950 and 2014 was the most recent. Incredible stadium. We're going to try and do a tour of the Maracana tomorrow afternoon, so that is the plan for tomorrow. But anyway, there's 13 concurrent viewers at the moment. Do me a favour, hit that like button. As I've already said, it lets myself and YouTube know that you're enjoying the content. And if you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button. It would be greatly appreciated. So I'm just kind of trying to refresh here to see if I've missed any comments so far. Hoping that the internet holds out. Gav says, sounds amazing, my friend. It certainly is, Gavin. I would recommend RIO to anybody. And, you know, it has a very, very bad reputation for being quite dangerous. And I must admit, for a long time, I hesitated in booking this holiday because I thought, is it worth it in terms of the danger aspect? But it actually is no worse than any major city in, you know, New York, London, Manchester. They've all got their faults. Glasgow, even Edinburgh. All these cities have elements of danger to them. But I think if you've got common sense and use that common sense, you should do pretty well. You should be fine. And that has certainly been the case so far. Stephen says 25 Celsius today in the Azores. We recently hit 30 Celsius, which was the highest in 5 years that I've been here. So interesting stuff, actually. Quite a windswept island, or island archipelago, should I say. I think, but certainly a fantastic climate down there. We've got Solar Phoenix live on the chat as well. Wow, laugh out loud, says Solar Phoenix. Hello to you. How are you doing wherever you are located? So, yeah, I'll waffle on for another minute or two, and then we're going to crack on with today's content. It will be a slightly abbreviated, or I hope it's a slightly abbreviated content today for obvious reasons, but I'm delighted to have the live chat and the live stream working here from Brazil. Certainly was a hope of mine to do a live from down in the southern hemisphere in this wonderful country that is Brazil. So 26 Celsius here in Somerset, UK. We've also got Jay here that is speaking what looks to be in either Spanish or Portuguese. Do me a favour, Jay. Would you be able to try and translate that just so that everybody can see what you're writing, and also I can read out your comment as well. It would be greatly appreciated. So yeah. Let's crack on. We obviously have the tropics to deal with as well. Debbie is essentially out of the way now. I've produced record-breaking rain anywhere from Florida all the way up to southern Quebec during the course of the past working week. And it looks as if we have got another system that is likely to become our nesto over the next 70 days. I think 7 days, not 70 days. 7 days we are likely to see our nesto tracking kind of west-northwestwards, and then it's going to feel a weakness in the ridge. One core of high pressure over the United States, one over the central North Atlantic, and it's going to follow the weakness in between that and take a turn. Now, what will be interesting actually is whether this system can affect the UK directly. Some of the models are indicating that it becomes extratropical, as is often the case once it catches the mid-latitudes, catches a ride in the jet stream, and its overall structure changes. Rather than being a warm core system that's fed by warm sea surface temperatures below, it then becomes fed by baroclinicity. We've got the competing air masses, cold versus warm. That tends to change the dynamics within the system itself. And what's going to happen is, where does that system track and what influence does it have on the UK and Ireland weather pattern? We've got a heat surge coming into Western Europe from Spain, Portugal, even down to over Morocco, the northwest of Africa. As the jet takes that southward push over the North Atlantic, that's going to force that hotter to then lift up into the UK and Ireland. What is going to happen, however, is we're going to see less influence of that heat up into the north of the UK. We may get into the mid-20s over the next day or two up across central Scotland, for example, but the core of the hottest conditions are going to be over the southeast of the UK. JL says, I recommend picanha or Brazilian black bean stew. Do you know, JL, I actually did try black bean sauce. It might have been a stew actually, but I have tried the black bean while here, and it is absolutely delicious, I must say. Slightly acquired taste, I must admit. I do like black bean sauce from the Chinese or when I'm cooking at home. It's got a slightly, in fact, it was actually the black bean soup that I had with steak the other day, and it was absolutely delicious. So anyway, let's crack on. Let's have a look and see what the temperature anomalies have been so far for the month of August. We're approaching the middle portion of the month, and really only 2 weeks left of meteorological summer. Isn't that remarkable to think that we are approaching the end of meteorological summer? The good thing is that September can quite often be a good month overall, and we'll wait and see what happens this upcoming September. I know there is some model output suggesting that it may be somewhat cooler and unsettled. But we'll wait and see. Mark Kinnish is also joining in. Hi, Mark. Sorry, can't be on today. Got family coming, kids staying overnight. Absolutely no problem, Mark. It's good to see you, my friend. Hope you're enjoying your weekend so far. But back on properly next week. Not a problem, Mark. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, my friend, and I hope you enjoy your time with family. So let's have a look and see. This is the current month-to-date temperature anomalies around the world, and we have got areas, obviously, of warm and cool. We've got sub-Saharan Africa. We've got quite a significant cool anomaly. We've had quite an active African monsoon. We've also got cooler than average across particularly northern portions of India, into Pakistan, where we've had the monsoon rather robust so far this year. We've got the central United States, particularly central and northern plains up in the south central Canada, that is running below average for the month of August. We've got a bit of an east-west split over Alaska. Up the western side of North America generally is warmer than average, anywhere from Texas across to California, and up the western side of Canada we've seen remarkable heat all the way up into the Northwest Territories, with temperatures as high as 36 Celsius up in the Northwest Territories region of Canada. So very, very significant heat here. Down across Australia, we've got largely warmer than average. Look at Antarctica. That is really skewing the global anomaly at the moment here. We've seen the Antarctic oscillation tank into off the scale negative. That has probably been a response to the minor stratospheric warming that's taken place over Antarctica. That has been generating exceptionally anomalous warmth for the time of the year over Antarctica, and that is likely what's driving some of the all-time record warmth around the world at the moment. Down here across South America, it's largely warmer than average. We've seen some record-breaking hot days and nights. Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, in the southern parts of Brazil. Like I've already said, temperatures as high as 35, 36 Celsius in and around the Rio area in recent days. Then we've seen a frontal system moving northwards, possibly in association with that strat warming over Antarctica. That frontal system moving north has really cleaned the atmosphere out. It was very hot and fairly humid here in southeastern Brazil over recent days, but we've freshened things up. Temperatures with sunshine, kind of low 20s, feeling quite pleasant, I must admit. So, and I think the rest of the holiday actually here will be somewhat fresher in terms of the temperature. Looking at Europe, specifically for the month of August, we've got generally warmer than average. Remember, I've got a warmer and slightly drier than average August for the UK and Ireland here, and it looks as if we are running that warmer than average. Across the northwest of Scotland, if you notice, it's slightly below average. We've also shifted the anomaly around a little bit compared to June and July. You notice here we've got slightly cooler than average across parts of Poland into Eastern Bloc countries of Europe here. We've got warmer than average, largely kind of Central and Southwestern, Western Europe, Northern Europe as well, up across Scandinavia. We've got warmer than average conditions here as well. So obviously June and July have been cooler than average. So I would expect to see a slightly warmer than average August overall. Let's have a look and see what the past 60 days has looked like in terms of the temperature anomaly. Just out of interest here, I've not actually looked at this in recent times, but you can see here average is slightly below average across the UK and Ireland in terms of the anomaly. The last 90 days looks like this here. And it's actually average generally across the UK, according to the CDAS data anyway. So that's a fairly lengthy period of time. That's about, 3 months nearly. We're actually running average, but taking into consideration the cool June and July overall. So we've got 8 concurrent viewers at the moment here. It is a fairly quiet afternoon. It's obviously at a slightly earlier time than usual as well. But we've got KMD, is that the right pronunciation? I hope it is. Hi Mark, watching from Aberdeen. What's your weather conditions like in Aberdeen this afternoon? I'd be curious to know. I think it's fairly decent from what I can gather. So, yep, very good afternoon to you from Rio de Janeiro. Hope you're having a good Sunday thus far. Let's have a look and see what the lightning activity is looking like over Europe here. So this is a live look. You can see here that we've got some convection to the south of Ireland here, off the west of France as well. At the moment, we've got a cluster of thunderstorms going on across parts of southern Finland into the Baltic states, Eastern Europe. We're seeing quite a lot of lightning activity as well as across parts of northwestern Italy. Along the Pyrenees here, we've got some lightning activity. Interesting enough how we've got quite a bit of lightning activity along or just to the north of the Atlas Mountains here, Morocco up into northern Algeria. We're seeing some lightning activity taking place at the moment. Looking further south over Africa. By the way, when we were flying down here on Monday, had quite a bit of a bumpy ride, I must admit, flying through the intertropical convergence zone. Quite a lot of high cloud tops confirmed by the pilot. Even though I was looking out the window, you can see the clouds above us, and we were kind of flying around 38,000 feet. So those cloud tops were probably in excess of 50,000 feet, and pretty typical for the month of August. Flying through the tropics, you expect to see a build-up of clouds. That African easterly jet. We've got waves coming off equatorial Africa. These are the seedlings to what becomes tropical storms and hurricanes. So always quite interesting seeing weather as you travel. So here, moving across to North America, South America, not an awful lot to speak about over South America at the moment, as you can see here. But we do have quite a lot of lightning activity across the Western Caribbean, especially around kind of East Honduras, northeastern Nicaragua, Western Caribbean Sea, the Gulf of Mexico, off the west coast of Mexico. We've got a thunderstorm cluster here over the state of Oklahoma, and off the east coast between Bermuda and the east coast of the United States, we've got a cluster of thunderstorms going on at the moment here, which is rather interesting, especially also up across southeastern Montana at the moment. Moving across to the other side of the Pacific, we have some thunderstorm activity, lightning activity across parts of Eastern Asia, off North Korea, between North Korea and China. We've got some lightning activity going on at the moment. Eastern China seeing the same. Down towards the tropics here, not an awful lot to speak about. We've got a little bit of lightning activity from what I can gather, if that is the case, to the southwest of Australia at the moment here. So yeah, that's that. Let's have a look and see what's going on. See, these are the current temperatures here in South America at the moment. And you can see here mid-30s across northeastern interior Brazil. Much fresher conditions. Slightly warming up, I must admit, over parts of Chile, Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay here. Right here at the moment in Rio, the current time is just going on for midday, and the temperature is 21 Celsius. Now, back a couple of days ago, we were approaching the low to mid 30s at this stage in the daytime. So that is much, much fresher conditions compared to what we've seen in recent times here. Looking at Europe, current temperatures look like this here. So obviously we're going to start to see the heat building. We've got some fairly warm conditions, bless you, across southeastern UK. We've got a 28 Celsius at the moment here in a few spots. Bedford and also Herstmonceux. I absolutely hate pronunciation sometimes is not a strong point. I know that's not the right way to say that word, and I do apologise for that. But these are the current temperatures, pretty hot. Central and southern Europe at the moment, we've got some very hot conditions to speak about, and that heat is going to get worse as we move into tomorrow. So these are the current UK temperatures at the moment. You can see here plenty of 28s at the moment. Up across the north, fresher, 19, 20 Celsius, 21 at Aviemore, as you can see here, 21.4 to be exact. Aberdeen, we've got 18 Celsius at Dice Airport, as we can see here, low 20s across the Central Belt. Moving across the North Channel in the Irish Sea, we've got the upper teens to low 20s, it looks like, Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland at the moment as well. So let me see here. Stephen Murray saying, had some lightning and almost an inch of rain overnight in the Azores, eastern side of the... sorry, that just moved, unfortunately. Just lost that comment, unfortunately. So interesting stuff, actually, within the Azores region. Let me see here. São Miguel Island. Just found Stephen's comment once again. So yeah, let's continue to crack on here. So this is the GEFS 200 millibar velocity potential anomalies for the next well, this is going all the way out to 360 hours, which is the end of August. And the point I'm trying to make with this is that we're going to see the MJO moving and switching. So the CPC, you can see here that we've got a fairly strengthening active MJO moving into phases 2 and 3, which is the Indian Ocean. We're going to start to see convection becoming more widespread over the Indian Ocean and the maritime continent. And in essence, we're going to start to see the widespread sinking increase over the Atlantic basin, as you can see here. So it looks as if we may start to see the Atlantic becoming a little bit quieter towards the end of the month. We'll wait and see what happens. We certainly have an active African monsoon, an African easterly wave train continuing to through these areas of convection of Africa, moving out into the MDR of the Atlantic, and we'll wait and see what happens. Ernesto looks as if it's going to develop as we move through the upcoming work week here. It's going to recurve. It doesn't look as if it's going to make impact in the United States, and it may eventually have impact in the UK. We'll wait and see what happens. So that's the MJO. This is the GFS 1 hour averaged simulated IR brightness temperature. And you can see this is what the MUL indicates at 115 hours or 01Z Friday, August the 16th. So this is a way out to the end of next week, by the way. Long way off, but you notice it has quite a strong, probably major hurricane seen on this graphic here. And it looks as if it's going to move to the north of Hispaniola. So if we play back here, and you can see what the GFS is indicating. So we've got more robust African waves moving from east to west out into the Atlantic basin. We've got obviously very warm sea surface temperatures, record-breaking warm SSTs continue. Notice here it crosses over Puerto Rico, seen by the GFS up. And then it takes a turn to the north. Now, I showed you in the tropical outlook yesterday. Check that out if you haven't already done so. It is now moving, and the GFS has it to the north of Hispaniola here, becoming a rather strong hurricane to the north of the main islands, It's taking a turn. We've got a trough that's moving out of North America. It's going to find that weakness in the ridge and take a turn northwards. Let's have a look and see what the latest model run indicates here. Just bear with me a second here. So this is as of Friday next week. There's that system, 965 millibars, likely a major hurricane seen by the model now. There's the weakness. We've got the trough exiting to the north. The core of the main ridge in the mid-Atlantic is bang slap over the Azores, if you notice here. But there's quite a gap here, a weakness in the ridge over the Western Atlantic, so it's going to follow that. Then if you notice here, it takes a turn, and notice here that it actually does not go towards the UK as per the models yesterday. There may be a piece of energy that then gets caught with a jet, and notice here it moves towards the UK and Ireland here, but we've got a fairly flat look to the upper air pattern across the northeast Atlantic here. Let's have a look and see what the GFS ensemble is looking like in terms of the 500 millibar pattern over the Atlantic. So right out towards the end of the month here, we've got a ridge over Iberia, we've got a trough over the northeast Atlantic here, a fairly flat flow, westerly flow at that. Let's have a look and see what the temperature anomalies are looking like over Europe. So just bear with me a little second here, everybody. So upcoming 5 days is looking like this here. So warmer than average, because what's going to happen is that this heat, I don't think it's going to hold on for a prolonged period of time. I think it's going to be one of these kind of short-lived surges of heat northwards. Then it's going to get kicked out of the way, and we're going to see Atlantic weather moving back in. But you notice here we're only close to average across the northwest, so we're going to have quite a significant contrast between northwest and southeast of UK over the next few days here. Moving on to the 6 to 10 off the GFS ensemble, and it's showing below average temperatures, which is quite interesting, isn't it? And then the 11 to 15 day looks like this here. So this takes out the period between the 21st of August and the 26th of August. We'll look at this in the next couple of days, by the way, in a European outlook. So let's have a final look at some of the extremes that have been taking place around the world, given the fact that it is a global weather report. And you can see here that Terry Goose showing that as of the 9th of August, with a preliminary record of 37C at Fort Good Hope, just recorded the highest reliable temperature in August for the Northwest Territories of Canada. Bear in mind how far north this is. That is quite a significant record. Norman, Wales, also 36.2 Celsius, an August record broken prior to 2024. The record was 34.8, which is quite a big difference between that and what is the new preliminary record. We'll wait and see what happens with that. It looks as if 77.4 millimeters of rain was recorded in Montreal, which is a new wettest day on record. Certainly the wettest day for the month of August, and 5th wettest day for any month since records began back in 1941. Is that right? Yes, it is. Looking at the extremes over Canada during the month of July, 42.5 at Lytton, British Columbia. Coldest was -3. We've also got some record-breaking warmth up in Svalbard within the Arctic region. Not really overly surprised at that one. All-time records again in parts of Northwest Territories. Is there any other stuff? Looks as if that is about it, to be honest with you folks. I think I've spoken long enough. So thank you very, very much for tuning in today. We have got Katrine joining in. Good afternoon, Mark, Vogan, and all in the live chat. Good afternoon to you, Katrine. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday afternoon so far. Am I missing anybody else? Don't think I am. So I'm going to round up there. Like I said, it is a little bit of an abbreviated version, but I think I've spoken, so just under 40 minutes. So yeah, a very, very good afternoon from Rio. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. We'll be back as usual at Marthagan Weather HQ at the usual setting, usual time next Sunday, all being well. And I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday afternoon and evening to come. Stay tuned, there will be plenty more content coming up here on the channel over the next few days. And also stay safe, especially if you live in France, Iberia, and also southeastern UK. Some very, very hot days and nights are upon this region of Europe. So stay hydrated, use sunscreen, use all the precautions as usual. And before you leave the live chat this afternoon, please hit that like button. I would greatly appreciate that. Bye for now.